You're listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, episode 60.
Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, where positivity and spirituality create an enhanced life's journey with the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha. I am your host, Omileti Olubunmi.
Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. I am Omileti Olubunmi. Thank you for spending some of your time with me to talk about all things Orisha, spirituality, and growth. So turn up the volume in your car, put on your earbuds. This would be a good time for a nice walk and grab something good to drink. Some water's good, and let's chat. This episode is being brought to you by our newest resource available, the Alejo's Guide to Godparents. Inside of Alejo's 101, there's a great new framework to a challenge that pretty much everybody who's going to come in is going to have. And what is that? How to get a godparent. For you, I have created the Alejo's Guide to Godparents. It's a brand new created because of the many questions that just keep coming up. It's just the same questions over and over and over. What is it? It is video and audio with a few printables that will basically give you the map and the keys for the vehicle of how to get a godparent. Why do you need this? Because no matter what you want to do in these traditions, you will need someone to help you, to guide you, and hopefully to uplift you in your spiritual journey. Because if you don't get the right person for you, you will continue where you're at without guidance. How do you get it? Just go to orishawisdom.com/Omileti and click on the image that says, finally, your guide to choosing the right godparent. Watch the quick video, and if it resonates, get it. Because it's an amazing opportunity that has come from your questions, your experiences, from my desire to see more brand new people finding where they belong. And with that, we are going to get started on an Ask a Priest episode. For those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome. This is a series that we have created where you, the community, gets to ask questions that you've always wanted to ask an Orisha priest. And now you have the chance. I'll put it on the show notes on how you are able to submit your question for a chance for it to be answered here on the podcast. But if you absolutely have to have it right now because you have a question that you're bursting to ask, go to orishawisdom.com/ask a priest. No dashes. And with that, now we're going to get started with this episode. Crystal asks, how do you know which particular tradition is for you? Santeria, Lukumi, Candomblé, etc. First of all, Crystal, thank you so much for asking this question. This question is one of the big areas of Alejo's 101 that we dive into. Because when you start coming into the Orisha traditions, you start finding out that it's a lot more than just Orisha. When I started coming up, it was traditional. Then the word Isheshe started kind of coming around, I think more in the past, maybe 10 years. But before that, it wasn't really a big thing. I just knew it as traditional. And Santeria is what brought me in. Just that word piqued my interest. Lukumi I found about later. Candomblé, I was in love with that. Voodoo Vudan, depending on how or where you're at, is another one. How do you know which particular tradition is for you? This, I think, is one of the bases and one of the foundational teachings of Alejos 101. I'm going to give you the quickest excerpt that I can. 1, it's not going to be a 1, 2, 3 thing. 2, you need to find someone within that tradition. Get yourself a reading. That's going to be number 1. Sometimes when you are in a reading, things happen to you internally, like in your spirit, and you're like, oh, this is great. This is where I want to be. Then you have to go to part 2, which is to complete the abo, to complete the sacrifice that is being recommended. Things will happen then too, which will either cement or unglue you from making a decision to stay within that tradition. I highly, totally recommend that you attend events, drummings within these. For me, I've personally never attended a Vudan ceremony or a voodoo ceremony or drumming. I know them, but I haven't attended, and that's okay. I have attended some things on candomblé and I fell in love. It was like, oh my God, this is amazing. However, when it came to finding my path, because I was studying other traditions, not Orisha related, what pulled me back and in was the word Santeria. Because Ifa, it had no meaning for me. And that piqued my interest enough to come in and to revisit. How do you know? You have to do the combinations within the lineage. For example, when I grew up in the traditions, there wasn't a lot of candombleros around. So I only knew of one. And that house was extremely difficult to get into. So that sucked for me. And what was available was Santeria, Lucumi, and some traditional, not a lot. I began to go to readings because no matter what, if you go to a reading in candomblé or wherever, they're still going to tackle things that you need to handle. So if you're having trouble in, I don't know, your home, your health, your job, each tradition is still going to handle this issue within their tradition. So that's fine. Do the abo. How comfortable are you within that tradition? Like for me, I don't know Portuguese, so that would be a challenge. Like I would really have to like perk my ears up, and they can talk really fast and I may not understand. Is that going to be an issue? For me, Lucumi was an easy yes. When I attended into the traditional arena, it was an easy yes. I could understand a lot of the tradition. I could understand the words. I could understand a little bit of the culture. It wasn't like I already knew it, because I didn't. I had to learn the culture within it. So just because I'm a Latina does not mean that you know Lucumi culture within, because there are different subcultures underneath that. And then you go into the ramas, and that's another different ballgame. But just to go into which tradition, the combination of reading, abo, and events is powerful. To me, it was just a combination of the three. The reading part, my first reading, I think that's why I'm pausing so much. My first reading with an babalao, Lucumi babalao, it was long. I wish I would have taken thorough notes. And if I did, I wish I knew where they were, is why I recommend you to have one notebook just for your spiritual stuff. So you don't lose anything. And you just go to that one notebook. Don't do like me with like 5 different notebooks and notepads. And I was at awe. I was in awe of what I was listening to because this guy did not know me. How does he know like this, and that? Like some things were like, this is some scary stuff. And then the above stuff, like it was so easy for me to get all those things that I needed to. Like there was no inner resistance of why you're going to get this or this doesn't make. There was no resistance whatsoever. It was pretty like inside. It was pretty easy. And then I got to attend a drumming. That was amazing. And how do you know which one you go into? If this is for you, Crystal, or anyone who is listening. How do you know that you're in love? You just do. Some people can pinpoint the day that it happens. Some people, it just comes gradually. But how do you know that, you know, this guy or this woman is your person? You just know. And there's no arguing. There's no discussing it. Or there's just no, this is not a debate. You love this person. Same here. I can't tell you when I particularly, because it was just a series of, yeah, I feel great here. Yeah, this feels good. Oh my God, this is great. This is where I want to be. It was a series of those. I don't know exactly when it was that I was absolutely 100% without a shadow of a doubt, totally like on. But from the beginning, it was just like, I think I really want to be here. And then I really love this stuff. And I really want more and all of that stuff. Until I finally made up my decision. My advice to you and anyone who has asked this question, I'm going to give you the response that I wish I would have gotten. Don't make a decision just yet. Do your best to experience what is around you. If Lukumi is around you, don't knock it. It might be for you. If Candomblé is where you need to be, things will begin to reveal themselves to you, which was interesting because Voodoo did not ever appear for me. And I love Candomblé music. Like like it sings to me. I love it. But it wasn't a path that I needed to take. And you have to be okay with that. It's not what it's going to be cool for you, but it's going to be where you belong. And you just have to be okay to accept that. Go to your readings to get your spiritual work done. Don't worry about it. It doesn't mean that you are fully committing to that particular, as long as you are not taking up bileques or, other shrines. As long as you're not doing that, you're good. Just get your stuff done and do your abodes and attend events. That combination is going to give you the answer of what you need. It could be Sheshe. It could be Santeria. I would say more Lukumi. A lot of people, they still do Santeria, but around the majority, I would say more Lukumi. Could be Candomblé. Are you okay? Most people that I know in Candomblé, they have to fly out to Brazil to do a lot of things. Are you willing to do that? Is that going to be something that is in your path? It could be. And if it is, yay, hooray, you're finding your way. Some people, when they deal with some Isheshe priests, especially the ones who are in Nigeria, they have to keep traveling back to Nigeria. Are you okay with that? Are you absolutely okay with every year spending 2 weeks there and just getting whatever it is you're going to get? You okay with that? Are you okay doing isheshe here, never traveling over there? Or what are you okay with? What is available to you? And does it fit with you, with your soul? Does it make your heart sing? Are you okay there? You are the only one who can answer those questions. I wish that I could kind of put you inside my heart when I have attended some things, because it just feels so perfect, so awesome. Like, this is great and this is where I belong. And I'm all right here. That's where you need to go. Things will continue to reveal themselves as you continue to progress, getting your readings, doing your abos, and attending events. I think that is the best sequence in advice that I wish I would have gotten back then, instead of me trying to make up my mind and trying to read a book and trying to figure it out without experiencing anything. And that, I think, is the best advice, because then that is your experience. So you've experienced, let me see, a Santeria thing, and you're like, I'm not comfortable with dealing with saints. That's not my thing. There you go. You have a piece of your answer. Voodoo, I don't like this. Okay, there you go. You attended an event. They were very nice, but something just, I don't know, this just, You got to listen to that. And then when you listen to that, you're golden, because then you start narrowing things out. For me, candomblé was not available. Voodoo was not available to me. I knew that there were some, but I didn't know them. So that was not available. So to me, it was traditional, Santeria, and Lucumí. Those were the three that were available to me, and until I made the choice. Okay? And I think another thing, don't stress yourself out trying to figure this out. I did. I'm just sharing that from advice. Don't stress yourself out. You're going to be okay. And just take your time making your decision. The worst that you could do is stressing yourself out over trying to figure out where you're going to go. Because think about it. If you're already getting your readings done, you're starting to get on your way. Things are going to kind of reveal themselves to you. So don't stress yourself out. Remember, go to readings, do your abos, attend events. I know we're still kind of coming out of the whole COVID nightmare, but whenever you can, if you can, attend a drumming, attend another drumming, and see what happens. See what happens to you inside, so that you are able to get to a point to make that choice. You've reached the end of this episode. First of all, Crystal, I wanted to thank you for writing to us. This is a great question, because it is a question that many of us ponder. Like, how do I know where do I go? How do I know where I fit? And I'm so glad that you took the time to ask it. For show notes, go to www.orishawisdom.com/60. Remember, something major and exciting is coming to Orisha Wisdom. It's going to be for all of those Alejos and Aborishas who do not have a spiritual house, and they are looking. I wonder what it could be. So it's on its way. And yes, Orisha swag with some of the original art. It's going to be planted on some shirts and some mugs. Keep an eye and an ear out to know when the pre-sales are going to be happening. But I promise you, it's going to be very, very soon. Remember, if you are interested in asking a question that you've always wanted to ask, this is a great place to start. And if your question gets chosen, we'll let you know. And you can go ask your question by going to orishawisdom.com Ask a Priest. If you have found value in what I do and the content that I create, check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Iya Omileti, and that's IYAOMILETI. And as a promise, there are going to be many things that are going to be done there, but as a promise, you will have access to all of the podcasts before they are published, as well as other things. And I thank you in advance for your support, and only support if you can, as it will truly help this podcast with the costs so that I can create more content. Remember, if you are still like, I need a godparent, what do I do? Just check out the Alejo's Guide to Godparent. It's an awesome resource. If you love this podcast, of course, share it. Share it for somebody else to try to get something out of it. And I hope that you did as well. Give us a review in iTunes. It helps us to stay on the map. And if you are on YouTube, then like this episode, subscribe, and click on the little bell icon so that you will be the first to know when there is a new video uploaded. Stay tuned for the next couple of episodes. We're going to tackle more of your Ask a Priest questions, and let's see what other topics will be snuck in between. I can't wait. Absolutely can't. Until next time, may the elevated ancestors and all Orisha bless you immensely. Odabo.
Thank you for listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes at orishawisdom.com/podcast. Can't get enough of Orisha Wisdom? Check us out at orishawisdom.com and subscribe to our community. Remember, the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha is all around us. Be blessed, and until next time.